You may know him best as a TV/film actor, producer, writer, and director. Known for playing in NCIS New Orleans back in 2021 as Arjun Chowdhury. But you all know him best from his latest film/first lead in a movie in Reba McEntire's Christmas in Tune as the character of Troy, co-starring alongside John Schneider, Candice King, Norm Lewis, and Reba McEntire. I'm so honored and happy to present Justin David as my guest on today's episode of My World with Stories podcast.
Hey.
Well, thank you so much for doing this with me. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you. I apologize that the setting could not be better at this moment. I did not anticipate traffic on my way, so I appreciate you being accommodating.
It's fine. I've seen so many different people that I've had on here in different places, so
Right. All right, good deal. I'm right there in the mix then.
So, how did you first get started into acting? Like almost like your start to entering that territory.
I moved to Atlanta in 2016, and basically, for those that may not know, Atlanta it's got a kind of a film community out here because a lot of productions come out here because it's a little bit more affordable to film a lot of their productions. And once I found that out, I was like, yo, this is what I wanted to do since I was 6 years old, and now is my time. So I basically started with just finding out what productions are out here. I dabbled with a little bit of background work, and then I met a few people, and eventually I found my first agent. I booked a couple of jobs, and bada bing, bada boom, the rest is history, and here I am.
Yeah. Yeah. So when did you know that this was something that you should do and put it into your life almost?
Well, I've always known that I wanted to do this since I was 6 years old, because I was a huge sitcom fan. I watched The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Family Matters, and Full House, and all those cute, heartwarming, those little moving sitcoms. And for a while, culturally speaking, I wasn't. It was kind of looked down upon, so I wasn't really encouraged or really allowed to pursue it. And then I don't know, I was 20, 22, going on 23 when I moved up here. And then I was like, you know what? I'm not hurting anyone's feelings this time around. I'm too old for anyone to tell me no. So, yeah, I just took a shot in the dark and went with it, I just knew that's what I always wanted to do.
Right. So, when I was looking at your resume, I was like, wow, you've done so much. And when did you really start professionally acting?
Literally everything just started I was learning and working and trying to build with experience in 2016, because at the time acting classes, they're super expensive. Sometimes they can be super expensive, and sometimes it's not exactly the most affordable thing that anyone that's a freelancer can really dive into. So I did an ungodly amount of student projects and short films, and a couple of local projects here and there, paid and unpaid, and that was basically my building blocks. That's how I got my first demo reel together that allowed me to land different agents and stuff like that, just because you got to do what you got to do with the resources that you have. You'll find a way to make it work, especially when you have nothing else to lose. Why not?
When you do all this work, whether it's acting, directing, or writing, or even producing, are you proud of what you've done over the past few years?
I'm proud of the progress I made. If that kind of answers your question, because we're all our own worst critic when it comes to the stuff that we do. I'm sure you understand too. You probably look over and there's no linear progression. It's a lot of but everything, you learn something from it, and you just naturally progress, or you force yourself to progress, one or the other, right? So in terms of something I'm super proud of, I am proud that I was able to get my first lead debut last year in the Christmas movie. And also I'm proud of where I'm at right now. I can't say that I'm fully happy with some of the things that I've done, just because I'm just man, I know I could have done better now. I know I could have done this a little bit differently. I know I could have maybe taken this character a different way, or maybe there's a whirlwind of thoughts that I have with the work that I've done. But I'm satisfied because, like, I can sit here and tell you, like, hey, I know I could have done better, but I did that before, and I know that there's progress to where I'm at now. I know I'm better than I was. So yeah, like overall, I'm happy with the progress. Is there something I'm just like, oh my goodness, I love what I did over here? Not quite yet. Not quite yet. One day.
So obviously you did Reba McEntire's Christmas in Tune movie. Um, oh, first of all, how did that job come about? And did you obviously had to audition for it? And like, how did that whole process go? Did you know like who you were going to be, associated with or any of that?
Oh man. So I got the audition last like spring. We filmed it over the summer of 2021 in Nashville, and I was working on this other movie.
Mhm.
I was day playing on it. I was but a day player is basically I was just there for like a day, and then that was my job. But like I auditioned for it. I sent in my work, and in my heart, I was like, there's something about this one. This one's kind of cool, Like I had a different approach to it with the audition as well than I did with any of my other auditions I've done prior to it. But like, yeah, I just kind of put that in the back of my mind for a little bit. And then while I was working, I got an email saying they have a callback, and they gave me the notes that they wanted me to do, the adjustments. And then I sent it in. And at the time, it was just Untitled Reba McEntire Christmas movie or something along those lines. I had no idea who else was attached to it. It was just Reba, And then like I think I waited about a week, and then they sent me the offer. And at first I was like, okay, cool. It didn't hit me. Nothing hit me. I was like, I was like, yo, this is what I wanted. Okay, here we go. And then I get to Nashville, and then that's when I found out who the rest of the cast was. And I was like, what? Like John Schneider, Candice King, Norm Lewis, and of course Reba. And I was just like, oh Jesus, take the wheel. Wow, I am amongst legends, like
Right.
and what was like super cool was I remember at my fitting, that's when I found out that John Schneider was working on it. And John Schneider, to me, I don't know if you're familiar with the show called Smallville.
Not really.
Golly. So old. It's basically, it used to be on CW. It's
Okay.
Superman. It's a show about Superman, Clark Kent's tale. And John Schneider, he played Clark Kent's dad. So we go to the table read, and he's over there. I'm like, y'all, I'm sitting right next to Mr. Kent right now, like Kal-El's father. Like that was pretty cool. And then finding out that Candace is going to be my opposite, and she's on Vampire Diaries, and she's like a veteran in the game. Like everyone's veterans, and I'm over here like,
Yeah.
it's my first day here, guys. How's it going? But yeah, it was cool. It was cool.
I've seen John on Dancing with the Stars, and he did pretty good.
Oh, that man can move, man. He's a showman, man. He just knows what he's got. He knows how to work it.
I have to ask, what was it like working with Reba?
She's the sweetest human on the planet, man. Like I don't know. Like I remember just like even the first introduction, I'll never forget it, because like the way that you would expect this heartwarming just ray of energy that just like it just puts you at ease. Like I went to go shake her hand, and she's like, "Hi, I'm Reba," in the sweetest way that she could say it. And it's like, good God, I love you already. Like she's amazing. Like positive energy all throughout. And she was also one of the producers on the show, so she was professional and super approachable, and just such a wonderful woman, like keeping contact here and there as well, making sure that we're all good and stuff like that. But yeah, she's super awesome.
For people that haven't seen Christmas in Tune, which I hope that people do like next year, can you like give like a description of what the whole movie is about?
Oh boy, yeah. All right, I'm not the greatest at giving descriptions of things, because I feel like I just take away the fun out of it, but maybe you can help me out here. So Christmas in Tune is about the story of Belle Winter, Georgia Winter, and Joe Winter. And I am the love interest to Belle. But basically, Belle has to get her parents together for the army ball. And the thing is, her parents, who are played by Reba and John, they haven't performed together in a long time because they kind of separated. They had differences, but that is a task that she has been assigned with, and my character kind of helps her out with it. And while Troy helps her out with bringing her parents back together, they kind of have their own love story that blossoms in the story, blossoms in the movie. And the same thing with Joe and Georgia, Reba and John. Their love story kind of comes to fruition again. You know, they kind of hit like the rebound there to see if they can do it right a second time around. And you know, we'll just have to see what happens.
Why the unexpected visit?
It's a Christmas Eve fundraiser called the Snowball. You and Dad reunited for one night only.
Honey, your dad and I agreed many years ago to pursue solo careers. So you can tell your clients, no thanks, not now, not forever. Well, since the stakes are so high, and it is for the troops, I'm willing to get into the trenches. If your dad says yes. Why on earth did I agree to do this?
What do you need?
I need you to sing with Mom for one night.
Joe said yes.
There's nothing wrong with believing in a little magic, especially not at Christmas time. Let's see if we still got it. Merry Christmas, Jordan.
Merry Christmas.
I saw the movie and I've seen it like numerous times, and I'm like too addicted to it. Like,
Golly, look at you, true blue fan.
I'm such a huge Reba fan. Like, I had one of her songwriters on that wrote the theme song to her show, and I was like,
Really?
oh my god, like
Yo, how is that?
that was incredible. Like, it's just weird because like they wrote the song "I'm a Survivor" like out of the blue, like they just wrote it, and then
Right.
someone sent it to someone else, and then she was like, oh, I like this. And then I think it was like gonna just be on her album at that point, and then the TV show came and she was like, hey, I like this, we'll put it in. And I'm like, what?
Right.
So I think it's crazy, and she's amazing. And talking about sitcoms, I think that's
Right. No, like she's a powerhouse, man. Like in everything that she does. Like, yeah, I adore her.
So you spent a lot of time in the movie with Candice King. What was that especially like to work with her and to, play opposite with her?
It was cool. Like, because I'm pretty sure everyone kind of understood, like, hey, just let's see what this kid's got. And I'm trying to, front, like, I got this. I'm a professional. I've done this all the time. I got this. I'm an actor. Here we go. But like, she definitely helped me out along the way. Like, she gave me a few pointers, some notes here and there. Cause like every single cast member on there knows a set inside and out, knows how to just maneuver on there, because they've been doing this for much longer than my entire career has lasted so far, like, Candace is super cool. She is a professional. She is insanely talented, and also just like a very, very sweet mom. Like, I say that because, like, on set, like, she was focused on work, but also at the same time, she would express how much she adores her family and her kids and stuff. And that, she's a sweet woman,
Yeah. This is kind of an unusual question to ask, but do you watch your movies or anything that you do? Because like, I know when I do my podcast, like I get so annoyed when I'm editing it and stuff, because like, not because of the people I've had on, just because I'm talking. So, do you watch that and stuff?
To be perfectly honest, like, I didn't watch Christmas in Tune when it premiered. I watched it like a couple of weeks after, just because like I wanted to sit there and just kind of watch it myself, kind of give myself my own critiques, my notes, and all this other stuff for myself. Just because, like, whenever I'm watching it amongst the hype with everyone else, like, I don't want to be that guy that's like, all right, guys, chill. Let me see if I really land this beat here, like, but no, like, to answer your question, sometimes I do. And then there's times like, all right, the job's done. Cool. Sayonara. That was fun. And then on to the next thing, Yeah.
I think sometimes like actors, they probably enjoy living in the moment, and then they're like, oh, like,
Right.
ugh.
Right. It's like It's hard to watch yourself sometimes, you know, because you're just like, golly, dude, why are you so cringe? Oh, that's me. Why am I so cringe? Never mind. I'm gonna quit. I'm a fraud. I should not be doing this. You know, it's like it's a whirlwind of thoughts.
Like I've had a lot of theater people on my podcast, and like
Mm,
see, when you're doing theater, you're not in front of a camera, obviously, so they don't have to care on watching.
right, right.
They have to listen to see if they.
Yeah.
So yeah,
No, theater cats are powerhouses too. Like they're such. I love theater.
I love theater too. That was my point of starting this whole thing, and then it turned into like so much.
That's pretty cool. Look at that. Okay.
I was
Good.
like, wow, like I just started with that, and now where I am is just great. You've also been on NCIS New Orleans. So what was that like? Because like everyone knows what that show was, I would hope. Like
No, that was actually super cool. Like I remember that I got that job during the pandemic, and like it was one of the few things that was still going on with, you know, the new rules and regulations regarding, you know, COVID and stuff like that. And it was pretty cool because the director for that episode, I don't know if you know this man, but his name is LeVar Burton. Um,
familiar.
Reading Rainbow.
Maybe.
Have you heard of that? Maybe, maybe not.
Maybe.
Golly, girl, you're killing me. Make me feel so old. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, I thought that was cool because like I got to meet the other two cast members. We're not super close, but they were just great. The whole production, it was phenomenal. The character I played, his name was Arjun Chowdhury. He was a bomb technician on the episode. And it was just super simple. He's just a cool guy who's just there telling everyone like, hey, this is a fake bomb. You ain't got nothing to worry about. And everyone else is, you know, freaking out. I'm like, I'm just telling you, like, it's not nothing to worry about. Okay. And I, you know, we'll get out of there. But like, it was a cool experience just because, you know, being around also veteran performers and directors, and just, it's a show that's been going on for a long time. Like they're all great. You know, they did a good job and they treated me well.
Yeah. I see like my mom is such a huge fan of like those shows and stuff. So like I'll like go into her room and I'll be like, what are you watching? She's like, I'm watching this. I was like, ooh, that sounds so interesting. And I'm not usually into that stuff, and then like I get hooked. So
Yeah. The storylines are mad intriguing, eh? Like it's pretty cool.
especially doing like a movie like Christmas in June, what is like a day in the life of, you know, like filming a movie, you know, for people that don't do that?
Oh man. So during that time, it was actually it's a lot of fun, you know, because like if I'm being perfectly candid with you, like as an actor and also someone that people still consider a puppy in the game, you know, because I've been doing this professionally and, you know, learning along the way for about 6 years now. Like every day we get our call sheets prior to the day of, we find out what our call time is, and like every day for me, I woke up around like 4:30 a.m. I try to train a little bit. I kept like a pretty regimented diet, but you know, I did a lot of rehearsal like prior to the movie even starting, like a week or two prior to we even had our first table read. Like I was pretty like familiar off book with my lines and stuff. So, but at the same time though, you know, you never know whenever they're gonna make a change in the script, so you have to be aware of that. But you know, you prepare the night prior about your scenes that you're gonna be doing, and then you get to set, you're ready. And while you're working, it's just like a lot of setting up, you know, getting the lights to hit you right, getting the angles down, getting the crew and the set decoration situated. Just like it's a lot. It literally does take a village, but you know, in terms of acting, it's like you get there, you hit your mark, you say your lines, you get emotional, you can kiss somebody, or you didn't, whatever the situation is. Like, you know, it's a Christmas movie, you know, so like, you know, you get in the jolly old spirit. But because it was a Christmas movie, like everyone was in the, you know, Christmas spirit. You know, everyone was just like super positive the whole time. Like, yeah, it's a fun time. It's a fun time being an actor.
It must be fun, you know, or I don't know, maybe it's also annoying. Is it annoying, you know, seeing Christmas stuff up in like the summertime?
It honestly, it was not, because it kept us cool, because it was scorching in Nashville. Like that late May to mid June, it was hot. And like we're wearing costumes and sweating our butts off sometimes. But at the same time, you know, we're just like, yo, we gotta be real cold tonight because we just came in through a snowstorm and stuff, but because we are, like I said, we are in this Christmas lovey-dovey spirit, and we're just such like we're basically hypnotized to that place. You know, it's fun though, you know, and also there's people there taking care of us, making sure that we're not like making our clothes look terrible, our hair is not looking all droopy and stuff. You know, we're always top notch. But yeah, it's a fun time either way, you know.
Yeah, sounds really cool.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I've seen like obviously leading up to this interview, I've seen so many clips of it. I'm like, Christmas. I'm like, I just want Christmas to come. Like,
right, like
yeah.
You know, like last year around this time, we just finished up and we're coasting through the summer, and you know, we're waiting for the movie to come out, and I was still in this Christmas spirit. I was just like, guys, when are we all gathering again for our next feast? You know, where's the family? And it's like, Justin, it's like mid-July, chill. Like, what are you doing?
I know some people that put up their Christmas tree like literally the day after Halloween. I was
I respect people like that. I'm just like, y'all are a little too much with that whole festive thing, but you know, do what you gotta do, boo. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Do you have any advice for people out there that are aspiring to be an actor or to want to like do what you do?
The biggest piece of advice that I have to say, and I think it might be a little eyebrow crushing, and you know, might make people be like a little look at me sideways, but classes are awesome, but try to get your feet wet by doing some work out there. You know, don't think that classes are going to get you to where you need to go. Like, try to learn as much as you can by doing practical work. Theory is great, but like, you know, if I'm going to tell people to do exactly what I did, like find breakdowns and castings for characters that may fit the bill that you have. And if it's a character you want to explore that story, you know, get yourself prepared for it, do what you got to do, and then get out there and do the work. You know, there's no better teacher than, you know, doing some free work. You know what I'm saying? Because you have nothing to lose there. You're not losing any money out of your pocket. You're just putting in the time. You know, like it's kind of like working out. You find your groove, and you got to find your groove with performing, because people can teach you how to do it the way that has worked for them, but are you going to spend the time to understand how you work? You know, like especially if it's one thing if everyone else is telling you that you did a good job, but do you feel like you did a good job? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure it's the same thing with, you know, the podcast, and you, like, you know, a lot of people can tell you whatever you want, but you know in your heart, like, you know, this is what I want to do, and this is what I want to do to improve, and I know this is how I need to go about doing things to get to where I need to go. You know, that same thing with acting for me. I'm just like, dare to be unorthodox, dare to go against the grain of what everyone else is telling you, you know, because like, I have a little bit of I don't want to say a chip on my shoulder, but like there's classes out there that sell you a dream, but it bears no fruit. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, guys, like, these guys are not going to promise you anything because they probably have not even done what you're trying to do. You know, like, get out there and get your feet wet. You know, like, get on Actors Access, get on Backstage, even if you're starting out. Go on Facebook, go on everything that shares breakdowns and stuff that you can utilize to kind of get yourself familiar, especially when you have no credits, especially when you have nothing to literally lose, you know? So yeah, sorry, that was a long-winded answer for a simple question. Yeah.
So, looking back at what you've done over the past few years, even, you know, this past year, where do you like want to see yourself in like 10 or 20 years?
10 or 20 years, I definitely still want to be acting, but I want to be like the four horsemen in one. You know, I want to be a director. I want to be a producer. I want to write. But of course, I still want to hold my torch for acting. Like, I want to do it all. Like, I like being able to lead stories, obviously. I also like creating opportunities for other people. And I love collaborating with people, and I love just the synergy that comes from creativity. You know, it brings people together in ways that, you know, is very seldom seen these days. I definitely want to be awesome as a performer, especially though. It's just because if it weren't for performing, I don't know what I would honestly be doing right now. Like I'm very, very grateful that I'm able to do this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I meant to ask you, you mentioned you're a director, writer, producer, all that kind of fun stuff. So what is your, like, I guess you could say, mainly looking at a director, what is that process like of being, in charge of, somebody else's work? I guess you could say.
I mean, when it comes to like directing, like I'm still learning quite a bit. Like I thankfully have a good circle of filmmakers that are my close friends, and I've been learning a lot from them. Just like as a director, your attitude kind of sets the tone for which the flow of production can go. Like your confidence it can be heard, and also your attitude towards the people around you, and also your attitude towards the story. Like if you're a director, don't do something because it's a quick paycheck or it's something that you can just put on your resume. Like do it because there's a little bit of passion behind it. Understand there's someone out there that might be wanting to see this and they're going to be inspired by it. Like you never know the impact that you can make on someone, even if it's an impact that you never even thought that you could make. So as a director, it's like it's your vision. You're bringing this to life. You want to make sure that your actors can trust you. You want to make sure that your producer and writer and everyone around you can trust you. If you're not trustworthy as a director, I promise you will see your production fall from under you. And that's always a kind of a scary situation because it's like, oh boy, like how do I deal with all of this? Like the walls start caving in. So the biggest thing is also like, start small, work in small groups, and then eventually, bring that village together, and then eventually it'll be a whole town, and then it'll be a whole state. It'll be bigger and bigger before you know it, and yeah. So kind of similar with acting, but the big thing with acting is like, you gotta learn to eventually trust yourself and your instincts,
So what's, like, obviously next for you? Like, is there like any work that you could announce right now or would love to do in the future?
There's a few there's a few ingredients in the pot right now, and once I'm actually allowed to unveil it and serve it to the people, I definitely will. Work in the future, I've been trying to learn a little bit more in terms of like I want to do an action story, and I've been learning and training a little bit on that just to be able to sell it on camera and also have the emotional dexterity for it as well. So, but yeah, there's a few things in the pot right now. So whenever I can announce it, you'll be the first to know.
Yeah, that's great that you have that vision. I love
Yeah. You got to.
I was explaining to someone else because I do the editing for this podcast, and they're like, how do you do it, blah blah blah, and I was like, well, it's actually interesting because like we're talking right now and I just have like a vision of what it's gonna look like, and I try to get it to that vision.
Right.
Yeah, but doing film stuff, that sounds so interesting.
Yeah. I give you mad props for it too. You set yourself out to do something, and you even said yourself you're doing more than you thought you would, with the whole theater thing, and now you're doing this, and also like I'm sure you would not have continued to do what you're doing right now if you didn't have a little bit of love for it too, like if there's a little bit of passion there. So your passion, your curiosity, that's all going to lead you to where you need to go, so yeah.
Yeah, it's weird because like I have like merch now, like for this, like I have.
Yo, that's freaking cool.
I made these masks.
All right, look at that. Okay.
Yeah, but obviously they're not worth it anymore because well, they could be, like, but
you never know. I mean, those cases are spiking back up again, so you might need to whip it back out and be like, hey, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Did you crush it? Yeah.
So is there like any social medias that you want to promote? Or, like,
I mean, I do have a Twitter and Instagram. I'm mainly on my Instagram. It's Suit Up Justin, SUITUP Justin, JUSTIN. That's how you spell my name. Yeah, like it's just all one word. I'm not like the most active social media person, but that's going to change hopefully in time, as long as I remember to do it. But yeah.
Thank you so much for doing this with me. I am so
I appreciate you. Thank you.
I'm so excited that we did it because, you know, I saw you in Christmas in Tune and I was like, whoa, this is so cool. So I'm very excited for people to see it and to watch this episode.
Go right on. Yeah. We'll blast this episode and let everyone else see it. And, you know, those that missed it, they'll be able to catch it on the internet, wherever it is, on Amazon Prime. Or
yeah, I purchased it on YouTube. So.
Oh, look at you. Look at you.
Such a fan of this.
Champion right here. Look at that.
It's also so funny because, like, every time you watch those movies, like, you know what's going to happen. You're like, right. They're going to fall in love. Yeah.
Of course. It's a cliche for a reason, you know, but it's still cute. It still serves for the purpose of Christmas, you know?
Yeah. Great movie. And when I first heard about it, actually, it was weird because, like, I thought it was, like, you think, because it said Reba McEntire, you would think, I thought that it meant, oh, she's going to be singing Christmas songs. And I was like, oh, it's a movie.
Right. Oh, it's a whole movie. Golly. Yeah.
Well, everyone has to check it out. So.
Right on. Yeah, be sure to check it out, everybody.
Yeah. Well, thank you again. I really appreciate this.
Sounds good, Brooke. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening and watching to My World with Stories podcast. For more info, go to Instagram and Facebook at My World with Stories podcast, and make sure that you give us a like, a subscribe, a follow, whatever you want. Do it because we love you guys so much. And thanks for